So on my screen, you are going to see our website. So this is www.slark.org, and this is our homepage. If you are on our homepage and you go to About Us, just click on that and scroll down, you're going to see information about how we connect to individuals and families, some information about confidentiality, some information about Title VI, which is federal regulations tied to the Civil Rights Act and non-discrimination. And within here, there is the statement about how we utilize an anonymous online reporting system through Lighthouse. It's owned by Centrio, so sometimes you see that in the information. So if you click here, this is the actual Lighthouse system. So this is what you see first. I want to point out that there's also a place where you can submit suggestions. It's a digital suggestion box. Anyone could submit a suggestion of things for us to consider. And that's one option that staff, families, folks that receive our services can use. Now, if you want to submit some sort of feedback regarding an incident or a complaint, this is where you go, the report an incident. And when you click in, this is what it looks like. So there is not a ton in here that are required fields. So again, you can get as detailed as you would like. It asks if you're a current employee. So unless you're working for us, you would select no, and then you would fill in as much as you see fit. They do require information about who was involved. And it will have you select through a pretty long list of different topic areas that you could be making a report about. And if something doesn't fit exactly into one of these, I would use your best judgment on what is the closest. That this is not a make or break in terms of what happens next. I would say the more information about what occurred, the better, just because it gives Lighthouse what they need to move forward and helps us on our side. And there's different boxes to check. And then down here, it says, would you be willing to anonymously assist if further asked? So what happens with this when you submit it is it goes into the Lighthouse system. It's reviewed by Lighthouse and then kicked over to a very, very small group of staff at the ARC. So it's a representative from HR, it's a representative from our quality department, and then a third person backup who is also in the quality department. So it goes to that very small group who then, depending on whether it's related to staff, related to our services, then we make a plan of how we are going to investigate and address the feedback or report. So as part of that, if you say, would you be willing to assist further, and say yes, then we can communicate anonymously through the Lighthouse system with you. So if we have clarifying questions or things of that nature, we can then, it's almost like sending an email, and you have the option of putting your email address in here so we can do that without us knowing your information that goes to you, and then we can correspond. You could also say, nope, I'm done here. And that will be that. We will do the best with the information we receive to look into what is being reported, which is why the more detail, the better, especially if there won't be further correspondence. So we can take it from there. There's also this box of, do you give permission to share your contact information and waive your anonymity? So that's another option. If you want to report this, but you want to be able to talk directly with us and the folks who are looking into this, then you could say, yes, I will share my identity, and then you will get connected to us through Lighthouse. And there's also this piece down here where you put in a PIN. We have to, on our end, put updates in the system about what is occurring. So if you back out, You'll see that if you already made a report, you would use that pin to go in and see the status. We have the goal of anytime we get a report that we do our, for lack of a better term, investigation within 5 business days, and we wrap that up. If for some reason it takes longer than that, sometimes there's circumstances around holidays or, major snowstorm in St. Louis or whatever it might be that delays us, then that can be put in here in terms of the status. So that's our timeline we try to stick to very closely, is that 5 business days. Now, depending on what is reported, that might look a little differently as to who is doing the investigation into what occurred and making some decisions. At the ARC, we have some other policies that dictate that based on funders or accrediting body best practices. So there might end up being some other people involved that it might eventually get to our president and CEO to look at. So there is a lot more information there. One piece that everyone who gets our services receives regarding those procedures is our grievance policy. So everyone gets a copy of that. We send it annually when we ask people who are receiving services to sign off on some forms related to their rights. And there's a process outlined in there of what occurs if someone goes to the staff of the program to try to resolve something where they feel like their rights are being violated, or a decision was made that they're not in agreement with. If that occurs and it's not resolved within the person that they go to first, or the director of that program, then it can be escalated where the formal complaint is submitted. And so again, that could be done through Lighthouse. That could be done through, we have another form that we keep internally that we've used with the folks we support historically. It's another option to use. But that goes through a process of the vice president, such as myself, getting involved to try to help resolve. If we can't come to a resolution with me, then Mark, our president CEO, may get involved. Depending on the situation, we may involve our Human Rights Committee. So there's a lot more detail that on the back end in terms of how we handle it exists. I won't get into all that detail now, but I would point you to the grievance policy that you should have received if you received services from us that gives some information.